We got about 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. 20 seconds. It is 6 o'clock on the dot. Good evening, everyone. How are you this evening? I hope all is well. It's your girl, LM, and we are once again live from the loft, as we shall say. I think I'm a little bit under the weather, or I'm coming a little bit under the weather. So hopefully you guys will definitely join in and make this thing worthwhile today, because I'm going to need to shut up a little bit. We got my girl AJ over here, and she is getting prepared and getting ready to definitely dialogue with us. So this evening, the topic of discussion is bad employment harder on your mental health than unemployment? And so I think what we're looking at is, we're looking at whether or not, when you're in an employment situation where you just aren't quite happy, and by happy, you might be overworked, you may be experiencing some discriminations, but we definitely want you to chime in and let us know, if you have an experience. Of course, you'll have to type it in your live feed, or you can call us at 804-232-6641. That'll be an easy way to, definitely let us know what's going on if you don't feel like typing it in the live feed. But definitely gonna kind of throw it over to AJ to kind of talk a little bit about, answering the question. Is bad employment harder on your mental health than unemployment?
For those that are just joining in, we have posted a link of an article research that was done in the United Kingdom, the difference between unemployment and having a bad job on your mental health. And I'm actually trying to find what was the difference between the two.
Well, while we're trying to see if the article will come up, personally, I think sometimes we fall into situations where we may be on the job, and sometimes we find that we're doing double the work. I know for me, I can speak from personal experience. Actually, a few days ago, I got really overwhelmed on the job to the point of tears. And I was overwhelmed because I felt as if I was more or less, I don't want to say a scapegoat, but I felt as if I was more or less being taken advantage of. Because I have expertise in certain areas. I personally feel that if you're working on a job and it's the 21st century, then we should all have some general knowledge of the greater, spectrum of our particular prospective jobs and job responsibilities. I'm a person that loves to help. I don't like to let anybody down. But at the same time, there comes a time when you have to say no, and you have to teach people various things that need to be done. So, yeah, I was in a situation where I was really overwhelmed on the job. So I'm going to say, yes, being in bad employment is definitely has a worse impact on your health than unemployment. And it could go both ways. Being unemployed, of course, financially would probably be, a stressor. But I think that if you're unhappy on a job and you're constantly going to that job anyway, not only is it detrimental to your mental health, but it's detrimental to your, I'm going to say, criminal health. Because if you're going to a job every day, think about the people that get fired from jobs and they end up going back to the job and shooting the job up. So personally, I think that bad employment may be a little worse. What do you think, AJ? Okay.
But according to the article that we posted, it says being in poor quality work, which perhaps is boring, routine, or represents underemployment or a poor match for the employee's skills, is widely regarded as a good way for the unemployed to remain connected to the labor market and to keep the work habit. But Butterworth's data contradicts this. The Hilda data shows ambiguously that the psychosocial quality of bad jobs is worse than unemployment. Butterworth looked at those moving from unemployment into employment and found that, quote, those who moved into optimal jobs showed significant improvement in mental health compared to those who remained unemployed. Those respondents who moved into poor quality jobs showed a significant worsening in their mental health compared to those who remained unemployed.
That was very much, huh?
Yeah, it was. So, with that being said, I can speak from experience that doing the same routine, mundane job day in, day out with extreme pressures, because those people over top of you are being pressured from those people over top of them, it can become quite hard on your mental health, especially if you come into work with a certain goal in mind or a certain mindset where you're going to say, okay, I have 15 things that I need to do, and I'm going to do them in this order and in this way, and then somebody will come and cut you off with some random assignment that you need to get done right then and there, and it kind of throws everything off, which puts you in a panic mode or an anxiety mode, depending on how your mental health is. And you'll find yourself not noticing, but you end up taking the work home. So now now it's on you. You're supposed to drop it off when you leave, when you step on and put it on the parking lot, but sometimes you don't. We take it home, and then it affects our family, which then affects your spouse, children, and it's just like a cycle because of what's going on at the job. And some jobs do not take the initiative, or the supervisor does not take the initiative to be like, hey, is everything okay? Let me show you if you appreciate it, because that's a huge difference. That's a huge difference in itself. You can work a bad job, like the job itself can be terrible. But if your supervisor or if your staff is on point, it makes the job better. And sometimes you won't necessarily leave for the betterment of your good because the staff and supervisor is on point. You can be working at a good job, the tasks are awesome, it's easy money, as we say, but the supervisor staff can be terrible.
So AJ, let me ask you this. Hypothetically, if you were my supervisor and I came to you and I'm just pouring my heart out to you because I'm unhappy. I feel as though nothing I do is good enough. I feel as though I'm constantly asking for help and not getting it. What would your response be to that?
If you're coming to me asking me for help, I'll ask you, okay, what is it exactly that you need help with? And is it possible if we can find people who really don't have that much to do to actually come and help you with whatever task it is, and maybe you kind of like a crash course or whatever it is you need help with, and go on from there. There's nothing wrong with help because we all can be bombarded with a lot, especially if you're one person covering 15 million things in one department and you don't have people to spread out the assignments to. That's where teamwork comes in. So as a supervisor, you go to the supervisor, look, I got a lot going on, I need help. The supervisor isn't supposed to tell you, get it done.
True.
Supervisor's not supposed to tell you that. Supervisor is supposed to say, okay, what is it that I can do to help you? Maybe I can, pitch in myself or find other people in other areas that's not doing anything per se, and just say, hey, I have an employee here that needs some help, and you mind pitching in for a little bit so he or she gets up to par, or the case may be. That's what a leader is supposed to be for Israel.
Well, and see, I'm glad you say that because it kind of burns me up, because everybody wants to be a leader or administrator or a supervisor or something that just everybody wants to be in charge. But what do you do when you have a supervisor that doesn't even know how to do the subordinate work?
Yeah, question.
A supervisor. And guys, you're watching. What do you do, or how do you feel when you have a supervisor who does not know how to do the subordinate work? Okay, so Jamila says, what if it is something that the person should be able to get done, but is not able to do due to poor time management on the staff's part? I come across that at my job. You know, Jamila, you are exactly right. Now, I'm going to take it a step further, because I think from my perspective, and I probably speak from AJ too, we have often been in situations where we deal with supervisors who are unable to get tasks done due to poor time management. And sometimes it's not even poor time management. Sometimes supervisors look at their employees as their assistants. But in my opinion, a supervisor is one who guides and one who leads. To me, supervisors have assistants, and their subordinate staff aren't their assistants. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I would say to your statement that if a person has poor time management, then that's something that supervisor needs to sit down and talk to them about. Now, if the poor time management is due to things going on outside of work that's hindering their progress at work, then we need to have a come to Jesus conversation and possibly refer them to EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, if your job offers that. Secondly, if it's something going on in the job, like what we're talking about now, then once again, we need to sit down and figure out a common ground and what's going on, what we can do to support our staff. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, as a supervisor, it's your job to be there for your staff and to support your staff, not to boss your staff, so to speak. Because it's a difference between a boss, a supervisor, a manager, and a leader.
Okay. I got a comment from John Scott. Hey, bro, I see you chiming in. He just wrote frustrated. Yeah, if you can chime in a little bit for me, John, I know you just got promoted to a supervisor position, pretty much.
Okay.
And if you
Congratulations, John.
And if you can share your experience as far as you dealing with a supervisor before you became a supervisor, and those maybe that you did have to oversee or govern prior to that position with the job that you was doing, that would be greatly appreciated. If you can, break it down as to the difference between a leader, boss, supervisor, and manager, if you can, Ella.
So a boss is just what it is. You know, when you were little kids and you were playing, I don't know about you, but you know I grew up in the country, playing, making mud pies and stuff on the sewers and on the manholes. Like, the boss was that person. No, you got to put it this way or put it that way. So a boss does just that. They dictate. They tell you what to do. A manager is pretty much that individual that's making sure that things are flowing, and, you know, managers focus on operations. Supervisors kind of look over, watch over, kind of over your shoulder. But a leader is special. A leader is in the front, pulling you along. So a leader is that individual who is standing in front of you, but they also know how to stand beside you. A leader knows the janitor's job. A leader knows, in your case, they would know the CO's job, the sergeant's job, the captain's job, the secretary's job. A leader knows the entire organization. A true leader can step down to any level of employment and do that job. And a leader is one who is not afraid to take a stand and someone go against them. A leader can be non-biased, they can be non-judgmental, and they can do what they need to do. And I'll tell you, we don't have many leaders.
We don't, especially not in my job. Got another comment from John. He said, my boss can't do my job, but I can do his. Which is what you just
Is that John?
Yeah.
John, I absolutely agree with you. We'll have to have a personal conversation about my frustrations regarding that. But thank you for that. I'm gonna put this out there, and this is a true story. This just actually happened a few days ago. So we have, and this is an anonymous submission, I will say. So I was talking with a young lady, and in conversation, she was very frustrated because she works on she works as a dyad with an individual, and this individual holds 3 or 4 positions in the position that he's in. And pretty much, he's taking the fun position and kind of disregarding her because he knows that, number one, she's going to get the work done. Number 2, she's a workaholic. Number 3, she wants to please everybody. So he pretty much is saying to her, look, I'll get to you when I get to you. And, while she's frustrated, I think I'm secure, and she would agree with me in saying she's not going to be one to rock the boat or address it. What advice, and individual, and you guys that are going live, what advice could we give to her? Because clearly she's going to be stressed out. She's going to be stressed out in the position that she's in where she has this individual. So, what can we do for her? What advice can we give to her?
Well, one thing I think, since she's not a conversational person, emails are a man's best friend. So I think she should just write an email to the person and CC, carbon copy, that person's boss, because everybody got a boss, you got a boss, got a boss. So whoever supervisor is over them, CC them so they can be aware as to what's going on.
Okay.
If she's still uncomfortable with that, you can also blind copy on the email as well.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so that way,
BCC, I love the BCC.
That way, it won't come off maybe as oh, you telling this person all my business. It's not necessarily telling all person all my business. Every time I talk to you, it's always a confrontation because you're not talking about it. So,
woo!
let me just, to avoid all that, let me just BCC. And then when she does that, she can just kind of go to the person supervisor, like, look, I BCC you. They don't know you know, but this is what's going on, and I definitely need to do it because this, that, and the third.
Okay.
So that could be one way she could go about it. Real quick, John said, stepping from the bottom to becoming a team leader / manager. None of my supervisors could never step down and do my job. And then he added, and he knows it for sure because he has took me Friday. He said, I guess he said something on Friday that he needs to fill his shoes because he's not familiar with the duties and responsibilities of his job. So in other words, John got to train the supervisor on his job.
Wow.
So to speak. That's really what that's about. But back to the suggestion, just email and maybe either carbon copy or blind copy that person's supervisor so they can be in the know.
Okay.
And just kind of off to the side, go to them and say, what it is that's going on, how that person may feel. And then that supervisor may do a conflict resolution. Maybe they're not the one who she has an issue with, but that person's supervisor.
Okay. Now
they may do that to try to put everything out there on the table and come to some type of resolution that way.
Okay, so let's take it a step further. So what do you do if and you know this is MBG, we talk freely and fluently about race. What if the complainant and the supervisor are of 2 different races, and the supervisor is of the same race, and the person that the subordinate has the issue with is of the same race as the supervisor and the supervisor's supervisor? In the world we live in, we got to keep it real. I guess what I'm saying is that what do you do when you look at your supervisor and you go in it with, well, my supervisor and her supervisor are close. My supervisor and the subordinate are close because the subordinate is doing something that is going to help the supervisor and the supervisor's supervisor. So what do I do? Because right now I feel like if I go complaining, I'm going to be on the chopping block.
Wow, because I deal with it myself.
Mhm.
Um, that's
It's hard.
It's hard to deal with when
Yep.
everybody, mama friends,
Yep.
and they're looking out for each other, and they can't separate the two.
And you know the worst part of it, and I'm just going to be 100%. The worst part of it is that I will disclose this part. When you have a white complainant and all of the supervisors or leaders are African American, you sometimes fall into are you going to do what's right,
Mm-hmm.
or are you going to try to maintain your status with your people? Now, me personally, I feel like you got to do what's right. You know, yeah, we got to stick together, but when you know that your people are not doing what they need to do, when you know that you know that you know that you know they're not doing what they need to do, you got to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I firmly believe that. For me personally, I feel like sometimes I'm more or less in a situation where I'm always doing. And if I say I can't do, it's like, well, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, nothing's wrong with me. What's wrong with you? Because this is your job, not mine.
Right.
Now, Jamila says, I had that issue at work last year, but I'm a vocal person, so the issue was resolved through a conversation with my supervisor and their supervisor. I also had others chime in from different places in the building, so it wasn't just me complaining. Thanks, Jamila. That's very important. I think that's some awesome advice, because sometimes you have to build an alliance and take that alliance in. So I agree with that 100%.
Hey, Deja, chime in, girl, because I know you deal with some stuff at your job too, with supervisors and all that stuff. So it'd be good for you to chime in on dealing with supervisors on your mental health, as well as if a bad job
Harder.
on your mental health than it is being unemployed.
So tell me, guys, would you rather deal with the stress? Would you rather deal with the... Hey, Sean, I see you just chimed in. And LaShawn, I think you can speak to this. The question is a bad job harder on your mental health than unemployment? Sean, chime in on that. Is a bad job harder on your mental health than unemployment? No one wants to be unemployed. Now, we're not, no one wants to be unemployed. But I do feel like,
But I've heard this. I'd rather be unemployed. I've heard this. I'd rather be unemployed with a peace of mind than employed with a miserable mind. I have heard people actually say
yeah,
that.
I've heard.
I have actually known people to actually just up and quit for a peace of mind. And, they just put their 2 weeks. Actually, as a matter of fact, I know somebody, I was told that a particular person that I work with comes to work on time, does what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Supervisor just talks to him terrible. And he says something and says something and says something. Oh, and here's the main sentence is, oh, that's just how he or she is.
Woo!
So it's gotten to the point where he has, he's called out, can't take it no more, and he done put his 2 weeks in. And it's kind of like, okay, you put your 2 weeks in, hopefully, I don't know the details, but hopefully he found, another job before he put his 2 weeks in. But it's like, okay, you're leaving because the job is not hard. It's just the person's making it hard by their mouth.
Wow.
So they'd rather leave and go somewhere, probably making less for a peace of mind versus staying there and just enduring so much to the point where you'll snap out on somebody.
And that's why I was telling you earlier, I had gotten to that point this week where I was just overwhelmed with, not with the work that I needed to do. I was overwhelmed with work that I was being asked to do that had nothing to do whatsoever with my job. So um, I was very frustrated. And anybody that truly knows me knows that when I start crying, it's time to move. And I find my peace, and I'm grown, but I find my peace in my mother because I had to call my mom. And my mother said, you need to remove yourself from wherever you are and go to your secret place. And I'll give that advice. Sometimes you have to find a secret place at work, whether that's the bathroom, whether that's your car. You have to sometimes find a secret place where you can find some kind of peace of mind. Because if you don't find some kind of peace of mind, you will be crazy as hell trying to work a job. And what good can you be to any doggone body else on a job if you can't do nothing for yourself?
Real quick, got a couple of comments here now.
Okay.
All right, Deja said, I would definitely say a bad job is definitely for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We spend more time at work than we do free sometimes.
True.
Which I can contest to. Corrections is the same way.
Okay.
Victoria, hey LS, a bad job is harder than unemployment. Well, a bad job is harder than unemployment because people have to know what the purpose is. When we force ourselves in jobs that are outside of our purpose, we allow for the attack of the devil.
Oh.
And mental health is an easy place for him to attack.
Okay.
Deja comes back and says work situations can become so bad that a person ends up taking anxiety just to deal with work, which is insane.
That's so true. I see Miss Erica Hutchins has chimed in. Erica, tonight's question for discussion is a bad job worse on your mental health than unemployment? Please feel free to chime in. Wow.
So that goes back to, Victoria's comment, that goes back to what you said about the secret place. When you feel that overwhelmed, it's like, this is what I do in my office. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm Mr. Rory. Now, we get an email, or for those who know, there's a email that's sent to those that are in Greek organization called Founders and Pearls.
Okay.
And every Monday, beginning of each week, they send out a a motivational email. You got it, girl, and all that stuff, and with an inspirational song or something. So what I do is I have a dry erase board, and what I do is I'll put whatever the quote is for that motivational quote for the week. I put that on my board as a constant reminder to just be positive. You're fantastic. You're gonna pull through. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Anything that comes your way, you're gonna overcome by whatever the quote may be. And then I get devotionals, or actually scripture of the day every day that pops up on my phone at 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So whatever verse that is, I put that right on my board as well. And I constantly look at it. If somebody comes at me with some foolishness during the day, and I'll just look at the board and just kind of meditate, or take that moment and just kind of meditate on my board, and be like, okay.
Okay.
And that's just something that I do. I've had those moments where I had to go in the bathroom, shed some tears, or I had to put a do not disturb on my door, or something like that, because it's just been overwhelming. But that's just what I do. I take the focus off a chaotic day, is whatever I put on the board that's inspirational. And sometimes I even, put the music on.
Okay.
And gospel music takes the mind off stuff. So I know for me, gospel, if I have gospel music playing and somebody come in with some foolishness, I'll smile like, oh, okay.
Well, I will honestly say, I did that the other day. The day after I had the meltdown, I did that. The next day, I put my gospel music on, and let me tell you what the first song that came on was. It was Every Day Will Be Like Sunday. Oh Lord, I cannot think of the verse, but it was just like every day will be like Sunday. And I got in there, and honey, you would have thought I had a whole choir. I was singing every part and I was clapping. But for the rest of that day, I was just like, you know what? Forget you, devil, because I do truly feel like sometimes, and I'm gonna go spiritual with it. I think sometimes God's put us in positions to truly see if we're ready for that next step that we want. I feel like He's putting me in positions to work with extremely wacky, difficult people, extremely lax people that really don't care about their work. They do the bare minimum. I think He's putting me in a position to work with all of these different people so that when I do become a leader of an organization, or the first African American female president of the United States of America, that I'm ready for the foolishness. I mean, I'm really feeling like that because I'm gonna tell you the truth. This week I was like, Lord, please tell me every day is not gonna be like this.
For those of y'all just joining and watching, this is MBG live from the loft on Sunday, since we done came up with a name now. We are talking about the bad job. The bad job harder on your mental health than unemployment. It was a study. I've been putting the link actually in my live feed. A study that was done in 2014 in the UK about the difference of a bad job and a good job on mental health. Thanks, Deja, for the support. Appreciate it. Victoria said, yes, worship, count it all joy. Deja said again, girl, when you are going through your worst of times, that's God stretching you so you can get to that next level. God wants to make sure you can stand on that next level.
Thank you, Deja. I appreciate it because, honey, some days I just don't know. What did some say? Mama said there'll be days like this. Mama said there'll be days my mama said. Ooh, I tell you. But all in all, with everything that's going on in the world, I worry about going to work and somebody snapping. I worry about that, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I have worked and I still work with some people that some days I go to work like, Lord, cover me in the blood, because I worry about coming to work and somebody snapping. I mean, what about you? Have you ever thought about, Lord, I might go to work and I might not come back home today? Because I think sometimes we take for granted that we're going to work in a safe environment.
Right. Again, I can attest to that. Where I work at, and this is just the department overall. I have known people that I once taught orientation to see their name come up in the email that they've died. And so when you check with people that you used to work, like, well, what happened to so-and-so? I came across somebody that actually committed suicide. Why they committed suicide, I don't know. But I remember asking whenever I would see this person, hey, how's the job coming along? Is everything okay? And sometimes, just by you speaking and saying something like that and showing somebody that you care, you do not know what people are going through at home.
Thank you.
And then coming to work dealing with everybody else's extra foolishness. So just by you saying, hey, is everything okay? Come eat lunch with me today, and we can just talk, chat, and you just never know, and you could be preventing that person from going home and attempting to shoot themselves at night, or going home and taking a bunch of pills and all that, because they'll see that, okay, at least somebody cares and nobody at home cares.
So you know what, Erica Hutchins just chimed in, and she made a good point. She said, this is why I choose to work from home. It's stress-free and I don't have to deal with craziness. Okay. And Erica, now for me, and you know me well enough to know that I'm a people person, so I don't think I could work from home. I think that would drive me crazy. But in being a people person, I am finding that in the position that I'm in now, some people think I'm a people person, the people that I really talk to. And some people think I'm antisocial and I have a bad attitude. And I think a lot of that is because I'm learning to disengage myself from people that destroy my and disturb my inner peace.
I got a comment real quick from Victoria. But also as a person who has been in an off job, and a job where I'm barely in an office, it has a lot to deal with how I prepare myself in the morning. Like you with devotions and scripture, I also tell myself wherever I go, I'm changing the atmosphere. So I'm so happy it's contagious, and the people around me are better for it.
Okay, okay.
And hey, Jazz, hey, Jordan, thanks for tuning in.
So I think we have someone actually coming into the loft, and we'll see if they're going to chime in. But I mean, personally, I think, and I continue to say that we have to protect our inner core. We have to protect our inner peace. And I can honestly say that in December 2014, I resigned from my job because I was on the verge of having to take anxiety medicine in the position that I was in. I resigned from my job on December 15th without a job, not knowing where I was going to go or what I was going to do. But what I did know is that I had worked so much that I had enough leave time that they had to pay me another month and a half of my salary. So although I didn't have a job, I knew that I had a month and a half cushion. On December the 19th, I got a phone call to do a phone interview for a job. A week later, I'm told I got the job and we need you in Richmond, Virginia, which is where I am now. We need you here by January. Look at God. Look at God. So I step out on faith a lot. So right now, I know that what I'm going through is a test of my faith.
Got another comment from Deja. You have to learn to center yourself so not to be affected by those that are around you. Honey, energy transference is real. I will block you in a heartbeat.
Block. Well, you know, and you know, with social media, it's easy to block.
Praise dance on it too.
All right. You know, with social media, it's easy to block, but
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Hold on. Wait. Let's do a prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, Jesus. Thank you so much for the unfollow button and so much for that block button on Facebook. Amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
AJ is definitely getting her praise though for the social media. But what do you do when you can't block? Because you have to work side by side
Yeah, you do have to.
with the biggest stressor of your life. What do you do? Okay, well we have Miss Farmer, and she said, I have worked at a job that weighed me down mentally. I know now that storm actually prepared me for my current job. As a supervisor, I have the utmost respect for my staff and have created an open door policy that everyone feels comfortable and it's authentic. I had one foot in a psych ward until the organization lost the grant and I became unemployed. Oh boy, do I remember that. It was like someone had lifted a boulder off my back. God turned it around and allowed me to do an internship and land a job in my purpose. And you know, Miss Farmer, I definitely have to go back to that day. I remember that day when you were working on the paperwork for that grant. And I remember a week or two before that when tears were filling the wells of your eyes because you were stressed out because your leader had not a clue. I know that you are at peace. And I know that right now, what you're having to deal with is you're having to deal with training up your staff in the way that he or she should go, so that when they become a supervisor, they will not depart from it. And that's stressful. But my hat's off to you. I love what you're doing, and I'm very proud of you. Now, we have an individual who chimed in, Mr. Terrell Sykes, and he said bad employment is much better than no employment.
What he say?
He said that bad employment is much better than no employment. So how do you guys feel about that?
In other words, you want somebody to settle to pay bills, is what I'm hearing in that statement.
So for me, and you know, we definitely, we're open to everybody's opinion.
Exactly.
For me, I can't say I'm in agreement because, once again, bad employment can lead to a lot of things.
You die.
Bad employment can lead to, you know, those mental health issues. It can lead to physical health issues. Countless people have heart attacks and strokes, you know, based off of, you know, on the job stressors. Now, I understand that unemployment, of course, you may not have insurance. And Jamila, you make a good point. It depends on your financial situation. You know, yes, a lot of people can't afford to be unemployed, but I'm a firm believer that if you can prove that you resigned from a job to the Unemployment Commission, or to the Employment Commission, and if they see, and if you have documentation about how stressed out you were, you are going to have some finances. And the other thing is this: if you believe in Christ Jesus, and you believe that he does supply all of your needs, then you don't need bad employment. Because you know that the God that you serve, that was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is going to supply your needs. And all you have to do is bow on your knees and cry holy, and you will be all right. So with that state of mind, I feel that I would rather be unemployed than be in a horrible employment situation. But, you know, like I said, everybody's situation is different.
I got a comment here from Deja. She said, I nearly died in a bad situation. And she said, better say a word. And then somebody else said amen to your comment as well. For those that work for the state, there is employee
Employee Assistance Program.
EAP. And if you got a really good doctor, and y'all like this, or it's like, excuse me, player.
Wait a minute. We have some drama on my feed
Hold
here.
on, I know it's real.
Okay.
Hold on. So if you're a doctor like this, and you go like, excuse me, player, you know, I got a lot going on, and I just need some time off. Be about 3 months. Your doctor write that up. But for the state, especially in my department, what it's supposed to do is any inkling of any type of stress, so to speak, they're supposed to encourage you to do that program, do little 4 free behavioral counseling, mental health counseling and all that stuff, and then you get referred and all that goodness to show that they at least care. But no, they don't do that. What ends up happening is you end up getting burned out, you spaz out on people, and you end up going to your doctor's like, hey, you got high blood pressure, you gotta put you on these blood pressure pills, and then you go out for months, you come back, and they still don't take your stuff into consideration, because they still try to add more to you. So again, you have to be, as Ellen stated earlier, you have to be self-conscious of you. If you feel yourself spazzing out on every single body every day, and you wake up, you be like,
Oh, fly going to work.
Hey, who working today? Oh, everyone. If you're doing all of that, then that means you're getting close to a burnout, and you need to take some
Yes,
time.
and self-care is important. Let me address some of these comments. So, let me go back.
Right.
So what transpired is that Terrell stated that he knew a guy he knows a guy who's been unemployed for over a year, and it ripped his family apart. And Jamila said, well, I worked jobs I hated because I needed money.
Exactly.
And
sometimes you gotta humble yourself. You may have to get that food out of that program.
And then Miss Greta said that she said Terrell is obviously young and hasn't been in the workforce very long. Who's your sugar mama? But I will say this.
Cannon.
Okay, so Terrell has chimed in. Terrell has said the black man.
Here we go. I knew he was gonna come with it. Here he go.
We respect and we're open to everyone's opinion.
But
he stated the black man is held lower than the black woman. Typically, most women are more well off than the black man. Now, personally, I can't speak to that because I work with a lot of black men, and we're pretty well off. I'm not sure which angle or which route you're taking with that comment, but the young men that I work with, the black men that I work with are building homes. They are planning for their retirement. They have beautiful families, healthy families. They respect their families. And I think of all of that as being well off. So I'm not sure which route you're going with that. Please feel free to explain. But
I got a comment here.
Go ahead.
Deja again. She said self-care is the best care and the first care. If you don't take care of you, you end up messing up your relationship trying to survive in a BS work situation for the sake of some money.
Okay.
Get the hell out of here. That's what she said.
Okay. Now we have another comment from LaShawn and then Terrell. So Miss Farmer says, once you're in the bad situation, you begin to prepare yourself for a way out. I've been told employees come a dime a dozen. So that was my clue. I could find something else and began packing up, looking for something else, and I left. And Terrell said there's always going to be some who are better off than most to give the illusion of hope. If you keep all black men down, you will cause them all to rise up against the system. Okay. All right.
Pop up in wine bottle or no?
And he says, y'all lucky I can't speak.
Who?
Laugh out loud. He said, y'all lucky I can't speak, laugh out loud. I mean, actually you are speaking, and we're definitely accepting and open of everyone's opinion, and that's why everyone's chiming in.
Comment on somebody on
Ms. Farmer?
Yes. She had said when she told that employees come a dime a dozen. We're told in where I work at, you're just a body.
Oh wow.
You're just a body to fill.
Wow.
You're a position to fill.
Oh.
So if you were to go out sick, it's like you won't be missed because somebody will put it in place of you, and that's not really a good look to be at a job like that. I understand jobs, their production has to keep going, but to say that, tells your staff that you do not care.
Yeah, I agree.
This is just a business, and we got to keep things going, whether you're sick or not. And I actually know people who hold that moment, Dave, because I'm gonna give you a number. I actually have people, or know people who been in the department for 40, 50, 60, some odd years and have no life, and all their life is the job, which is another bad thing as well. If you have to have balance, as my spiritual brother was saying, don't be too high that you're not no earthly good.
Woo! Can you repeat that again?
Don't be so high that you're no earthly good. You have to have balance in your life.
So before we give Deja the number to call us, let's break this down. Don't be so high, heavenly, and holy that you're no earthly good.
And you can apply it to a job. Don't be so gone in your supervisor status or don't be so gone as a manager or a boss that you forgetting little people or you forgot where you came from.
Okay. I can rock with that. I can rock with that. And I see Steven just chimed in. So, and for you guys that just chimed in, the topic for tonight's discussion is bad employment harder on your mental health than unemployment? Okay.
All right. The number to call in is 804-232-6641. 804-232-6641. The number to call in and give your 5 cents, as I like to say, not 2 but 5 cents. Chime in. I'm not gonna say what she said, 'cause she did ask what was wrong with him.
So I think that where we are right now is that we have a lot to think about as it relates to seeking employment. Because number one, if you know that you a peculiar person and you got, I'm not going to say stupid ways because that's what my mother would say. But if you know you have very funny ways and you don't want to be touched by people and you don't want to be hugged and you don't want to be talked to a lot, you might not want to be in a customer service position. Okay, Erica, I definitely see that. If you're working at a job and it's killing your body and mind, find out what you love and enjoy. See if you can make money doing it and be your own boss. And that's just exactly what I was saying. If you know you're in a position that you don't need to be in because it does not fit your personality, and we have a caller. Good evening.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, darling, how are you?
I am excellent. How y'all doing?
Doing really good, and we are awaiting your, I know you have something great for us that's going to probably make me fall out of my chair.
Listen, honey, that young man that was talking about all of this black man this and black man that, he needs therapy. And this is no shade to him. I understand there's a problem in the workforce that, black men have all types of issues, but that is not what y'all's conversation is about this evening. So this is not the time and the place to have that discussion.
Well, we appreciate your comments, and I think you have really been engaged. Have you personally, and you don't have to answer, but have you personally experienced these issues on the job?
Oh, yes, honey. Like I said before, I was in a situation that nearly took me out of here. So knowing the other side of the coin, it took me having to go through my own bout of either I'm going to be on mental, having to take some anxiety medications, or I'm going to go and take care of my mental health. And that's what I did.
Okay. And Deja, I will say that we appreciate how open you are and how willing you were to kind of step up and go for what you believe in and do what was best for your mental health. Once again, I did the same thing. When I resigned from my position in December of 2014, I did not have a job. I was like, where am I going? Did not have a job. It was just like whatever. But I had to trust God. I had to trust that He was going to supply me with what I needed. And girlfriend, when I say 4 days later, do you hear me? 4 days later? See, I should have said on the third day, but I can't say on the third day. But 4 days later, I had a job.
Blessed and happy, baby.
Yes, ma'am. So definitely appreciate, you calling and talking with us. And I'm trying to see, because I had some technical difficulties here with my little live feed. Decided it wanted to go bye-bye on me. But it should be coming back. But we definitely are glad that you called us, because we needed to hear from you. We need to hear from you, and we appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the other thing that I wanted to add as a caveat, first and foremost, if you are anybody out there listening, if you are in a position where you feel as though you are at a crossroads and your inner spirit is speaking to you and telling you that this is not working and you're going to work every day unhappy, or you're waking up dreading the fact that you have to go into work, into this place, then it's time for you to move on. If you're in a situation where you feel like you are stuck between a rock and a hard place and you can't necessarily just quit that job and you can't find anything out there because it's hard to find work in Richmond in that position, then by all means, like you know, if you gotta quit, then you gotta quit. And say that everything is going to work out and move on. Don't stay in a situation just because of the sake of money. You will lose your mind.
So true. So true. That's true.
Not something that you're going to do.
That is very true.
That is not something that you're going to do, because you end up subjecting yourself and those around you to the poison of your own unhappiness. And you are then infecting everyone else around you, because again, energy is very transferable, and that is real. Which is why I said I block you in real time.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to have to learn to start blocking people in real time also, because I'm going to tell you, it gets hard sometimes. It gets hard sometimes. It definitely gets hard sometimes.
It definitely is. But definitely, like you were saying before, if you got to go outside and get in your car, or get into your moment of prayer space, and if you meditate or whatever religion it is that you practice, get down, sit down somewhere and get it together.
That's right, and you have to, because if you don't, you will be crazy as hell trying to live and get yourself together, and you be just as foolish as you can be. And I'm gonna tell you, I see and I'm listening to fools every day of my life. And you know, growing up, my dad told us not to say the word fool, but honey, I can't help but say it, because we work with some fools in this world that we live in. We work with some pure D foolish folks.
Oh yeah, they cool plastic out here.
Oh, they are. Indeed they are, my dear. Indeed they are. But it has been a pleasure. And yes, please maintain the number. I'll go ahead and throw it out there because we got about 3 minutes. But Tuesday night, you can tune into www.legacyinternetradio.com, and we will be on in live in radio with Mr. Stephen Sykes, and he's very socially conscious. He's been undergoing some controversy and adversarial things in the community because people just don't understand him as a person. So we definitely would love for you to chime in there also, sweetie.
Well, I will certainly try to do so.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, and keep on coming, girl.
You all have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, Deja. Much love. We definitely went off of my page live because for some reason people were trying to call my phone, and you know when you call it disconnects you. But I'm glad you guys came over to the live feed here, and we have about 2 minutes. So if it's anything you can think of that you know want to talk about, please feel free to do so. Please feel free to do so.
For those y'all watching, I'm going to put on my thing. For those y'all watching, my chapter, Omega Gamma Zeta chapter of Zeta Factory Incorporated, we're having a car wash September 18th from 12 to 3 at the AutoZone on Jefferson Davis Highway in Chester, Virginia. So please come out and get your car washed, get it clean. Donations are accepted. Really would appreciate it. Just at the church, be like, man, I need my car washed. Just ride on through. Really appreciate it.
So, you know, we got about a minute left. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for chiming in. Please, please, please take care of your mental health.
Oh, my bad. I got you, Deja.
Go ahead.
I got you, Deja. Also, Deja that just called in, she's doing a podcast. I guess I call it podcast, blog, radio. Anyways, Audible. With her and another young lady by the name of Kendra Jones, called More Bougie Than You. You can check them out on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/More Bougie Than You.
Okay.
They talk about everything from love and hip hop to Colin Kaepernick to the BET Awards to the VMAs to Nate Parker and his foolishness. with this case coming up out of nowhere, since he's trying to do Nat Turner movie, they talk about everything. And fashion as well. So check them out. Again, www.soundcloud.com/morebougiethan-you. Also, you can follow Deja at, actually you have to follow More Bougie Than You on IG, More Bougie Than You. And you can follow Miss Deja at So Deja Vu on IG as well.
Okay.
And real quick, because people just coming in now. And why y'all coming in when we getting ready to go? I don't be understanding that.
Ha
Shout out to John who gave some insight today. Joseph for tuning in. Jackie Braxton, Mills Q, Anisha, Meach, Justin, Cristal, Ashley, my LS Big giving insight. Charlotte, Deja for calling in and giving insight. Jasmine, Jazz, my little daughter Jazz, Kim, Nicole, and and then Katrina. Thanks to everybody that's been either liking or watching, and gave a little insight here and there on my page as well. Oh my bad. On her name.
So as we prepare to go ahead and sign out,
Oh, Paisley is the other girl. So Deja Vu and Paisley. Sorry, y'all.
okay.
So go ahead.
So as we prepare to sign out, I definitely want to thank, everyone for chiming in. And protect your mental health, guys. Please protect your mental health. Self-care and wellness is more important than anything. If you're broken and sick, you're going to be unemployed anyway. So why not protect your inner peace, protect your balance, protect your core. Find employment or find and seek employment that is beneficial to you. And when I say it's beneficial to you, I'm not just talking about finances. Because sometimes we're looking for six-figure jobs, but we're not taking into account everything that you'll endure with that six-figure job. Take that five-figure job and have peace of mind. And then move up the ladder, if you so choose to do so. That's the best advice I can give you. The best advice I can give you. From personal experience, sometimes you got to step back from a position of authority and become a follower again just to find your peace of mind. So that's about it for the evening. Just ponder on it. Is bad employment harder on your mental health than unemployment?
Follow us on Twitter at MBG_0716. Like our page, Motivational Brown Girls page. Join our group, MBG, so we can put you in. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Honesty IZs with the S's R. IG Forbidden, F-O-R-E, bidden _fruit, F-R-O-O-T. And you want to follow you or not?
No. So you can, if you would like to follow the both of us, you can add us. We have a page where you can be a friend, and it's MBG last name page, and you can request it, and your request will be accepted. Once again, we do have an actual Facebook friend page, and it's MBG last name page. Once again, it's your girl LM and AJ, and we're signing out. And always remember, MBG listens and then we speak. Good night.